Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Jason Mackey's First 10, a short version podcast talking all things Pittsburgh sports. Today is Friday, November 8th, and well, technically it's Thursday night. I'm recording this actually while watching the Thursday night football game, so this is going to be interesting. It's been a pretty good game so far. I'm not going to spoil any sort of ending, although you'll be watching this much long after this one is decided. Anyway, I'm heading down to D.C., a little D.C. double dip. Penguins Capitals tonight, and then Commanders and Steelers on Sunday. Looking forward to all of that. Going to talk a little bit of that and take some of your questions for the usual Friday edition. But first, want to remind you that we're brought to you by Edgar Snyder and Associates. If you're injured in an accident, you're probably wondering, what's next? For over 40 years, Edgar Snyder and Associates has helped injury victims answer that question. Whether it's gathering evidence, collecting medical records, or dealing with insurance companies, Edgar Snyder and Associates has helped over 75,000 people handle what's next. Call 1-800-94-EDGAR or visit edgarsnyder.com for a free consultation. And remember, there's never a fee unless they get money for you. I'm actually going to start briefly with a little talk on the Penguins in an ugly game. That's how I started my evening, watching that one until it got way out of hand. And then I flipped over to the football game because I don't think there was much to gain. Finished 5-1. And Mike Sullivan had some interesting comments after the game talking about the effort level of some of his players. Was basically, let me pull up the exact quote here, but I thought we had a lot of guys that played really hard and didn't get rewarded for their efforts. I think there were a few guys who didn't live up to the expectation, and it's hard. Well, we can read between the lines here and see that message was geared toward Erik Karlsson, right? Was at fault on the first couple of goals. He has not been good this season. I don't know whether it's an effort issue, an injury issue, a head in the clouds issue. I don't know, but it's an issue, and I don't see how you can let this fester any longer. Mike Sullivan put it out in the open, as he should. Absolutely no problem with that. The Penguins have lost 8 of 10. When they were here last, we thought some of their habits had corrected. We thought they were on a better path. Well, we were wrong. Not good. Blew a lead against the Islanders on Tuesday. Just got their doors blown off in Carolina. That seems to happen a lot there. And then they go into Washington tomorrow. Who knows? Don't feel great about it. Don't feel great about how they're defending. Mike Sullivan went on to talk a little bit about that and some of the problems they've extended, but I thought it was really interesting. I've been around Sullivan a lot. Him saying something critical of players, of the team, whatever, in public doesn't happen often. He is not somebody who sends messages through media. He is adamantly against it. And maybe that, doesn't agree with some people. I would certainly, from my perspective, love to hear him say things that are more incendiary because that makes for good copy, but he doesn't do it. He did it tonight. I think Mike Sullivan is kind of wearing down on all of this, and I don't blame him. I mean, maybe he, sort of figures that if this doesn't fix itself, maybe his own job's in trouble. I don't know. Mike Sullivan isn't coaching the Penguins to play this way. Erik Karlsson seemingly just... I hate saying doesn't care because, I mean, if somebody would accuse me of not caring in my job, I'd probably get upset. But it looks like he doesn't care based on the product that we see on the ice, based on body language, skating, effort level. Those are the optics. And at minimum, the results stink. Giveaways, plus minus, scoring chances allowed, that sort of, like, it's not good. And it's not only Erik Karlsson, certainly. It is omnipresent with the Penguins right now, but we'll see where that one goes. Not a great situation. As far as the football game this weekend, I just wanted to add a little bit on my personal journey and why I've been so kind of hopped up on this. When I graduated from Westminster, it was 2006, and the winter of my senior year in college, I interned at a TV station in DC, WJLA. It's the ABC affiliate. And when I was in college, I actually wanted to be more of the Bob Pompiani or Greg Brown, talking about sports on air. And so I interned there, and I got sent out to Redskins Park a lot. They were obviously the Redskins back then in Ashburn, Virginia. And so I'm going out there. And the Redskins at the end of that season got really hot. And they had won, I think, the final 6 in a row, something like that. Clinton Portis, it was in the middle of him dressing up in those funny costumes. Mark Brunell was the quarterback. Chris Cooley was the tight end. Santana Moss. And Ryan Clark was there, of all people. I remember Ryan Clark, Sean Taylor as well. And that was a really good Washington team. And so I'm going out there and I'm seeing how, Jason Lockenfora was on the beat at the time. And it was a very formative experience for me, seeing how the media drill worked. And so I will always sort of have a special place in my heart for the Redskins, the Commanders, Washington's football team, whatever. I know they've had their problems, and I'm not saying I'm a fan. It just, kind of takes me back to my younger days and seeing that and saying like, man, I want to be like that. That's what I want to do. I don't want to do, the TV thing more than, kind of a hobby. I want to be the person, driving the news cycle. I want to be the person extracting information that other people are following. So it was just a very important part in my life. And so I'm kind of excited to dip back into that a little bit. All right, going to take a short break, and we'll be back with some of your questions on the other side. But first, a message from the Bradenton Area Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Embrace the laid-back charm of island life while sinking your toes in the sand and discovering real, authentic Florida in the Bradenton area. Unspoiled beauty and pristine beaches, a vibrant waterfront downtown energized by local arts and culture, fresh Floridian cuisine with a flourish of rich history, and friendly locals ready to welcome you to this preserved paradise on Florida's Gulf Coast. Plan your visit today at BradentonGulfIslands.com.
And welcome back to First 10. I'm your host, Jason Mackey. We're here Monday through Friday, middle of the morning, about 10 minutes, talking all things Pittsburgh sports. And now we are going to get to some of your questions as I watch Lamar Jackson, I think, throw a touchdown pass, as long as there are no flags. Quite an ending to this game, and I won't go on about it because it'll be old news. But anyway, Drew Cagle asks, which is a bigger issue for Penn State going forward, run game struggles or wide receiver struggles? Both were poor against Ohio State. Fair point, Drew. Absolutely a fair point. Maybe the run game struggles. I think more was expected out of Katron Allen and Nick Singleton. And I know it's a cop-out answer to say both. They should be getting more out of their wide receivers. I don't believe that group has a touchdown pass, but I mean, the fact that you have Tyler Warren, I think maybe that is a bit of a deodorant. The inability to run the ball, though, that's not going to work. And that hurt them against Ohio State. They weren't able to sustain drives. You may have heard first and goal from the 3, they weren't able to punch that one in. So, I mean, not that that's on any one person, but I think I might, if I have to choose either or, I'm going running game. All right, Ron Southwick asks, when will the Pirates announce Andrew McCutchen is signed for 2025? Given the last few months of disappointment, the Bucs would get some goodwill and a still productive player. Well, probably a smart aleck answer. They'll announce it when it's done. But no, in all seriousness, I don't know if this is a foregone conclusion. I can make arguments for and against what to do with Andrew McCutchen. And Noah Hiles, by the way, did an excellent piece. I think it was late last week, a few days ago. It's certainly still somewhat fresh on our website about the arguments for bringing McCutchen back and the arguments against bringing McCutchen back. And, if you look at this objectively, one of the stats Noah had in there was among the players, there were 10 players with at least 400 plate appearances as a DH. Andrew McCutchen's WRC plus, which is like a, combination number that not everybody gets. But anyway, it was the last among that group. So, I mean, you could look at that and say, compared to other full-time DHs, Andrew McCutchen has not been terribly productive. You can also look at it and say, compared to other Pirates hitters, Andrew McCutchen's been very productive, which he's been. And you also need to take into consideration, this is Andrew McCutchen we're talking about. Do the Pirates really want that PR headache? I go round and round. Ultimately, I would bring back Kutch. I'm not trying to hedge on that, but I do understand the idea of like, what, you're going to take a PR hit? I mean, come on. The Pirates are a walking PR hit right now. Like, we're having protests about selling the team, and there's a billboard going up shaming Bob Nutting. Like, if they turn the page on Andrew McCutchen, like, I don't know. It's Charrington's job to field a winning team. If they win, which there might be a logical argument to be made for moving on from Andrew McCutchen, if that's the case, especially if you've got some young guys that you don't quite know what to do with. Not that Henry Davis should push out Andrew McCutchen. Excuse me. I'm going to take a quick drink. But, you need to find something to do with him. Maybe Jack Sawinski. Don't know necessarily how they fit. I still wouldn't do it. I still couldn't do it. Andrew McCutchen has meant so much to baseball fans and the Pirates in this city. He deserves to go out when he wants to. But again, I'm just saying there's an argument to be had there. I can understand the debate. All right. Do you see the Pirates spending on bullpen, position player, or both? Same for trades. Mark E asks that. Yeah, probably both. I mean, I think they know they need to add a bat for the middle of the lineup, and that's fair. I think they know that they need to improve the bullpen too. And I don't think those two things are, prohibitive this offseason. They could certainly get those done. I'm just curious how serious they get, with the first base option. Do you get somebody for multiple years? Do you get somebody for, 10, 12, $15 million? I don't know. They need to. If it was my money, that's what I would be doing. If it was my money, I would be going, premium first base, middle of the order signing, Andrew McCutchen, and probably 2 relievers if I could fit them, under what I'm allowed to spend by ownership. But I think you should be able to do that and do a pretty good quality of job there. All right. Thank you so much for watching this all week, every week. Love doing these. Really looking forward to DC. Maybe we'll rattle off a video or something down there. If you're at the game, by the way, the Penguins game, I'm going to be outside looking for people. Yell at me. I'm the weird looking tall guy. You probably know that, or tweet at me at JMackeyPG, and we'll meet up somewhere. But looking for some Yinzer takeover stories. That's one of the goals I want to come out of this thing with, about, people that maybe wanted to come down, double dip, just like I am, see 2 games and spend a weekend in DC. So hit me up if you're down there. Thanks so much for watching Firsthand, everybody.
Thank you for checking out this content from Post-Gazette Sports. If you watch this video on YouTube, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. For all of the sports coverage the Post-Gazette has to offer, visit post-gazette.com.